Poilievre accuses Trudeau of breaking the immigration system. Okay, it's broken. We can't handle the amount of immigrants coming. What are you going to do about it, Poilievre? Apparently nothing. Let's watch.
Good afternoon, Mr. Poilievre. My question is on immigration. As you know, Canada is on track to have about 500,000 new immigrants to the country by 2025. And I'm wondering if you think this is sustainable and if a Conservative government led by you would continue that trend and would be satisfied with that 500,000 a year number.
Justin Trudeau has broken our immigration system. We see this on the streets of Toronto, where refugees are living on the pavement. It wasn't like this 8 years ago. When refugees came to Canada, we had them sponsored by charities, churches, mosques, synagogues, other nonprofits to give them homes, help them write resumes, and get them fast work permits so that they could get jobs and paychecks. We see it in the new movement online of immigrants who are saying they're going back because they can't afford to live here in Canada. After 8 years of Trudeau, many immigrants feel like they're better off where they came from because the costs and the crime that Trudeau's policies have unleashed make this country unlivable for newcomers and for those who've been here a long time. I want to get back to common sense immigration. The numbers should be driven by the number of employers who have job vacancies that they cannot fill with Canadians, by the number of charities that want to sponsor refugees, and by the families that can reunite and support their loved ones here, not by egotistical targets that are designed to give Justin Trudeau a vanity project. We need to get back to competent immigration. By the way, we need to expand housing construction. It's all well and good to think that you can increase the population by 1 million people in a year, but where are we going to house everybody? We now have, last year, we built fewer homes than we built in 1972. Think about that. In 1972, our population was 22 million, and we built 250,000 homes. Last year, our population was 40 million, and we built 219,000 homes. So we have nearly double the population, and we're building fewer homes. Is it?
Okay, so this goes on for 3 whole minutes, 3 whole minutes, and Poilievre never addresses the problem with the fact that we don't have the systems and infrastructure in place to keep up to the amount of immigrants we are bringing into this country every single year. And that is not an anti-immigration statement. It's actually a pro-immigration statement because we want the immigrants we are bringing into this country to succeed, to be able to find housing, to be a benefit to this country, to be a place of freedom and prosperity, to live the Canadian dream. We can't do that if we're bringing in too many of them where they can't integrate, they can't find jobs, they can't find housing, they can't find services, they can't find schooling. And their presence here drives up the cost of everything else because it's the laws of supply and demand. We're setting up new Canadians for failure. But what is the consensus in Ottawa is that this 500,000 immigrant target every single year is just fine and dandy. But if you poll the people and not the party leaders, it is across all parties, including the NDP, where they say, we're setting immigrants up for failure. There are just too many of them coming in every year, and they can't integrate, and we can't help them. So we got to pump the brakes on it. It's across all parties. The polling shows it consistently, year over year over year. And yet the party leaders are so detached from that reality. They complain about inflation, but they don't ever say, okay, well, we have no houses. We are not building houses. There's no housing supply. How are we going to house an extra 500,000 people every single year? That's a half in Edmonton we're bringing into this country every single year. And we don't have the infrastructure to support them. Do something about it. Take the stance and say, okay, we're going to half that. We're going to bring in 250,000 and at least catch up to ourselves. But nobody ever says that. And I don't know why, because it's not politically unpopular.
I think it comes down to cowardice. Personally, I'm just saying, I think people find it too confrontational, so they wouldn't say it. It's the obvious answer of what needs to happen if we can't take care of the people who are coming. It's not rocket science. We can't even get them their SIN numbers, by the way. I've done reports on that where they're out there in lineups every day waiting to try to get a SIN number so that they can work when they come here. And they're saying things like, this isn't what we thought it was. You know, we were welcomed here and now we can't even work. It takes them months upon months just to get that, let alone a house. And of course, like he mentioned, there's not enough houses being built. So it is discouraging to see that leader of the opposition can't get that together and just say, what is the solution? At least working towards a solution here, which of course, obviously is slowing down the pace, the rate at which this is happening. So
yeah, like I don't understand why you don't just say, okay, we're going to half the number of migrants that are coming in, or immigrants. Sorry, these are immigrants. These are not migrants. Right. We're going to have the number of migrants or immigrants that are coming in this year. And then maybe the next year we'll up it by 50,000. If you think that the Canadian economy needs another 500,000 people brought in every single year. Okay. But let's ramp up to that, because right now we can't accommodate that. I don't know why that, and to say it exactly how I said it, we're not doing the people we're bringing into our country on the promise of something better any failure or any favors.
And he is right that there are immigrants actually leaving Canada because they're getting hit with these blocks. I've met some of them too who I knew, and then they left for the same reasons. It's like it's all been a big ball of smoke when they came here, and they're like, you know what, I could get more done where I came from.
Yeah, for sure. Let's just quickly hit this tweet here, and then because we're rapidly running out of time, because I knew that David Menzies' video would take up so much space. I just knew it. I just knew I'd have a lot to say. Polling Canada, federal polling right now puts the Conservative Party of Canada nearly 10 points up on the Liberals, which is exactly why they had that cabinet shuffle. They shuffled out some of the more problematic idiots out of cabinet, but I don't think all that does is leave you with more problematic idiots. And so I don't know how the Liberals are going to save themselves. When you see, by the way, people who are saying there's an election right around the corner, when you see these numbers, I was going to ask you. I don't think so. You don't think so? If you were a Liberal, if you were a Liberal, would you want to call an election right now?
No, I don't think so. But so many people are saying, oh, rumors. And I'm like, but it doesn't make any sense to call it now. Unless you look at it one way. If you lose, well, you can blame everything that's happened with the economy on the Conservatives. So you might want to give it a try before the Conservatives become more popular. But overall, I agree. I don't think it's happening.
Well, and also what this data shows is the more people get to know Pierre Poilievre, who really needs to put his glasses back on. He does look like Milhouse when Milhouse doesn't have his glasses. It's very unsettling to look at. I'm not used to it. I don't expect it, and I definitely don't like it. He's got eyes like, as my mother-in-law would say, 2 pee holes in the snow. And that's not just me being mean. He's got these little tiny beady eyes, and his glasses help with that.
Put the glasses on.
Put them on. But it shows that the more people get to know Pierre Poilievre, the more they are rejecting the mainstream media construction of who and what Pierre Poilievre is. They're learning for himself that he's just kind of this snarky nerd who is much smarter than Justin Trudeau, more thoughtful than Justin Trudeau, and believes in smaller government, regardless of how the mainstream media and the Liberals, but as I always say, I'm repeating myself here, how they are painting or try to paint him out to be this either an extremist or someone who would hobnob with extremists and be just fine with it. People are learning for themselves, the longer this goes on, that he's actually none of those things.